welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. If you're coming back, thank you so much. It means so much to me. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So if you want to do me a favor and hit the like button, because that directly correlates to my self-worth, and subscribing would be great, because then you continue to help me feel good about myself. Alright, so today we're going to talk about watching TV on my phone. And this doesn't seem like the right place for that. So, let's go. Alright, so now that I'm in the comfy chair, let's talk about Quibi. Quibi is a video streaming service app that, unlike any other, each episode of every show is 10 minutes or less, and they have new episodes coming out every single day. Quibi has a number of original new programs and reboots. So let's just look at what Quibi has to offer. When I first looked at the app, one of the very first things I noticed was that Anna Kendrick has a show. This seems fascinating. So let's look at the description of her show, Dummy. Cody needs a friend. She meets one in Barbara. Only problem? Barbara is a sex doll with an appetite for adventure and, well, sex. I probably shouldn't talk about this. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I did watch the first episode, and I noticed something. The executive producer, the creator of Dummy, is Cody Heller, and the protagonist's name is Cody. Okay, the protagonist's boyfriend's name is Dan Harmon. They say it straight up. And Cody Heller is real life dating Dan Harmon. I don't like it. Nope, I'm good. Nope, I'm good. No. Okay, so let's just look at something else then. Another show that caught my attention was The Stranger. Again, let's look at that description. A rideshare driver is thrown into her worst nightmare when a mysterious passenger enters her car. Her terrifying, heart-stopping ride with the stranger unfolds over 12 hours as she navigates LA in a chilling game of cat and mouse. That sounds great. I'm gonna watch the first episode. Alright, so before I really get into the show's concept, let's look at this scene I noticed.
We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto.
Well, actually the line is, I don't believe we're in Kansas anymore, Toto.
Oh, really? Is that how the quote goes?
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Okay, I want to stick on this for just a second. Why would you go out of your way to have your character correct somebody else misquoting a line when you got it wrong too? If you are writing something like that in, or you want to quote a piece of fiction or a quote from a real person even in your work, like, you know, maybe fact check to make sure you got it right. And it makes it look worse because she was correcting him and still got it wrong. Okay, so this first episode went about 8 minutes, right? It was fine. I just didn't feel like we had a whole lot of substance yet. One of the problems here is that the show only has 8 minutes to introduce the show, the way that a pilot would in another TV show that will have 22 minutes for a sitcom or 45 minutes for a drama. So Claire is the driver. She picks up Carl E. at this really big house. And immediately they seem to be getting along. He seems a little awkward, but he's really friendly and encouraging. And she opens up to him about her dreams to be a writer. And seemingly, he essentially asks her out on a date.
I'll my flight. I can get another flight right now. All I want is to get a burger and to get to know you.
And she agrees. So they're gonna go get food. And he says this.
I'm an open book. Ask me anything.
That's great. And then she asks him if she's famous because of that really big house she picked him up in. Okay, that's natural. That makes sense, right? Cool. But it swerves hard. The jump is way too quick. Very little transition. He goes from being this really nice, sweet guy like this.
I know that we were meant to meet tonight.
And jumps into this nonsense with very little transition.
Keep your eyes on the road, Claire.
So the episode pretty much ends with him threatening to kill her if she doesn't tell him a really good story. I like the premise, but I don't really think I'm gonna stick around and watch the rest of this one. Next, let's look at Flipped. Jan and Cricket think they have what it takes to become TV's newest house-flipping couple. Unfortunately, a Mexican drug cartel thinks so too. Now the delusional duo has to survive their newest project, renovating the cartel's mansions. That sounds fascinating. Look, Will Forte is in it, and Caitlin Olsen too. This is gonna be a riot, right? The show opens with Cricket working at a store much like Home Depot and being mean to customers.
Oh, let's not be stupid here, okay?
And then she loses her job. And I didn't think any of that scene was very funny. I thought it was very dry and kind of ran flat, and she just felt mean, and it didn't feel comedic enough. Then in the next scene, we've got Jan, who also gets fired from his job as a school play director.
I wrote you an original musical, a world premiere on your school stage. You're welcome.
Again, I thought a lot of the jokes ran flat, but I thought it was a little bit better than Cricket's opening scene. It didn't impress me immediately, but I'm willing to carry on here. So then we move forward to this great scene of Jan and Cricket at home complaining to each other about losing their jobs and how nobody understands how brilliant they truly are.
Just for the life of me don't understand why those two have their own show and we're sitting around eating microwave lasagna with the rent pass due.
Don't you ever make fun of microwave lasagna! To me, Will Forte just carried this scene. Jan is the best character, and it's because Will Forte is incredible. Caitlin Olsen did fine as Cricket, but I was not quite as in love with her character. The show ends on the point of them realizing that they could try to become home renovation television stars. But we still haven't seen what the description has told us would be of the show with the drug cartels and stuff. I was curious, and I laughed enough in the show that I decided to carry on to the second episode. I thought episode 2 started way stronger.
Cricket and Jan's curbside dream or curbside crush? Like an alliteration.
Hold on.
You got it?
I got it.
Is this it?
Flip it and gone. With Cricket and Jan.
Episode 2 did it for me. The meat of this episode is Jan and Cricket filming the pilot to their renovation show. And they're looking at the house that they bought and trying to figure out how they're going to fix it up and make it really nice. And there's just some really good lines and some really good moments.
Oh, sweetie, will you look at the carved moldings under the eaves?
I think those are wasps' nests, baby.
Oh, yeah.
The episode ends at a point where they discover money lining the walls. Now this is how I think the first episode should have ended. But again, their writing is limited by Quibi's format. Every episode has to be 10 minutes or less, which means that if you were to introduce the money lining the wall at the end of the first season, you would have rushed through that and had no real character introductions. It's unfortunate. Look, Punked is on here too. And everybody knows I love me a good prank show. She's an imbecile! We got her! Alright, so Chance the Rapper hosts this one. I watched 3 episodes of this one. I loved it. I thought I watched 1, 2, and 3. I started with 6. Who knows why? But let's look at them anyway. The first episode I watched, they pranked TikTok influencer Addison Rae. During the entire introduction, Chance the Rapper didn't really seem that interested. Like, he was just kind of reading a script and there to do his job.
Addison Rae is a TikTok phenomenon.
In this prank, Addison Rae was doing a photo shoot, and during which some mom comes on and introduces herself and brings her kid with her and says, "My kid's gonna be a TikTok influencer too, and you're the best. So why don't you guys come talk and we're gonna take over your photo shoot." And it was very much this like strong stage mom thing. When the mom left, this happened.
I think what you do is so amazing. But, I had to skip school for this, and it's like my mom's forcing me to do all this, and it's like
I don't even have a chance to be a kid without like posting constantly. Like all she cares about me for me is like followers.
I thought this was kind of an awkward position to put a 19-year-old in. Like, what do you say? Tell your mom no? But if she doesn't, if she's just like, oh, get over it, then she seems heartless. They kind of put her in a rough position.
She's a meal ticket.
But overall, I loved the way this prank went. I thought it was funny, and nobody got hurt. This is not the kind of thing where there are any lasting impressions or consequences, except maybe not trusting your friends or Chance the Rapper. In the second episode I watched, they pranked Ty Dolla $ign. And in this one, Chance seemed a lot more interested in introducing everything, and I imagine it's because they're friends.
Ty Dolla $ign, you're my boy, but you're about to get punked.
This prank saw the valet driver steal Mr. Dolla $ign's car. Apparently, Ty loves his car, so of course that's gonna be the target of your prank. So it boils down to them finding the car, and the valet driver in the car with his girlfriend, smoking. Of course, Ty Dolla $ign is angry. And really, that's the very best thing about this episode, is how mad he is.
Okay, alright, it's all good.
Better be all good.
And how ready he is to fight.
Wait till you come out,
He has some of the best lines in this whole thing, like even better than some of the actors.
You ain't gonna have to worry about the police, you're gonna have to worry about me. I don't give a the police here. That's on detail your face, watch.
In the end, Chance the Rapper ran out and said, hey, you've been punked, to make sure that Ty Dolla $ign didn't beat up some poor actor. He seemed to be a good sport about it, and I really enjoyed this one as well. I'm gonna move past punked real quick, but in the next prank I watched, I just wanted to show some really funny moments from that one.
But you were the one flying? Why was she?
Yeah.
Are you her mom? Are you?
No, do I look like a mom? No.
No, F this. I'm walking.
Come on, we can do this! I'm a 5th-generation Ferris wheel operator!
I want to die.
No, you're not gonna die, Ed. If anything, you'll be badly maimed by these crossbars.
So now, let's talk about my favorite show on Quibi, Kirby Jenner. Kirby Jenner shows us his reality as a member of the world's most famous family. Okay, so maybe that doesn't tell us a whole lot, but let me tell you that this is an incredible mockumentary that introduces Kirby Jenner, the fictional twin brother of Kendall Jenner. And I can't believe that they actually got the Kardashian Jenner family to go along with this, because oh my goodness, it's hilarious. Look, I'm not saying that it's The Office, but the timing of some of the jokes, the willingness of the Jenner Kardashian clan, all of it. It's just so great. Luckily, Kirby Jenner did not have the same kind of introduction problem that the rest of the shows seem to have, because you already know who the Jenners are and who the Kardashians are. So you don't need to introduce them. The only person you need to introduce is Kirby. And it's easy enough to just say, yeah, he's Kendall's brother. And it works. And it's funny. Alright, so let's look at some of how this show went. All Kirby wants is to figure out his place in the family. In the beginning, he talks about what all of his family does.
My family is filled with people that do pretty important things. My twin sister Kendall models. Courtney keeps having babies. Chloe's tall. Kylie makes lipsticks. Mom does business. My sister Kimberly is practicing to be a lawyer.
And how he's just looking for his place. Obviously, this is getting to him. The pressure is a big problem. And we get some really good moments.
So slightly.
Hold it there. That's great. Kendall, just bring that hand up a little bit higher. Good. Cheese. Cheese. Good. Is he saying cheese?
Similar to some of the best moments in The Office, some of the best moments in Kirby Jenner were the moments when a joke would be placed out but not necessarily emphasized on like it was a big funny joke. It was just a stupid line that was just thrown out there, and it landed. A lot of them landed for me.
And then the audience started asking these questions that I just wasn't prepared for. Hi, this question's for Kirby. Who the f*** are you?
How the hell does Mom wear these?
I don't know. I think she just puts her left arm in and then maybe her right arm. Something like that.
After watching all these shows, I now have some thoughts on Quibi. Now, this isn't talking about their business practices, and there's talk about whether or not they failed, and how much money they must have put into this, and how much they're potentially getting back. I don't know anything about that, and I frankly don't care. What I do know about is stories, and what I enjoy. I think that Punk'd and Kirby Jenner were both very fortunate in that they don't really need to do as much introduction. Punk'd was already an existing show, and it's a prank format. 8 to 10 minutes works, and you don't need more than that. Kirby Jenner had the benefit of not needing to introduce much, just Kirby and his problem. Episode 1, I knew exactly what I was getting into, and it ended on a really good note, and I'm so excited to finish that show. The Stranger didn't feel like it had enough time. It didn't transition well into the conflict. It just kind of rushed, and it was just creepy. Way too fast, way too sudden. Flipped had the same kind of problem, except I wanted aspects to be introduced sooner. Dummy, which I didn't really talk much about, had a similar problem. It was paced okay, but it felt like it was lingering a little bit at certain points. I didn't feel like I was getting enough fast enough. We were introduced to the doll at the very end of the first episode, which might have been like a big popping moment, but that seems more like before a commercial break than waiting for the next episode. I'm guessing that most of these shows were actually shot like movie and put together in a movie format, but making sure that there were good natural breaks to end each episode. And that's why when you look at a show on Quibi, you can see how many episodes there are going to be even before it's finished, because it's all already mapped out. So then that kind of makes me think, maybe it's not fair for me to just review 1 or 2 episodes, because I am not taking the whole movie in at once. But I think that that's Quibi's fault. Quibi introduced these like a TV show, and so Quibi needs to be making sure that the stuff that they put on there is going to catch your attention with that first episode. You have 10 minutes to really catch my attention, and oftentimes it just wasn't quite doing it. I think it's really cool that they're offering this alternative to Netflix with shorter episodes, and it's to kind of focus on the short attention span of today's world. In a lot of ways, it feels like Quibi is to Netflix what TikTok is to YouTube, and that's fine. But I'm just not sure that Quibi's really nailing it yet. They're putting a lot of money into the production and into the actors of their shows. I'm just not interested in continuing my subscription, but I really wanted to. Maybe it doesn't mean much. I'm just some boy that loves to watch TV and movies, but Quibi just didn't do it for me. And I wish I was more interested, but I'm just not this time. But really though, do I need to have more subscription services so I have more shows to ignore? No, probably not. So, now that I'm done with that, time to leave the couch. So now that that's out of the way, why don't you let me know what you think of Quibi in the comments below. Cool. If you enjoyed this video, hitting that like button would be marvelous. And also, if you want to see more of what I make, you can subscribe to this channel because I'm gonna keep making stuff. Neato. So hey, thanks for joining me on this wonderful adventure. I'll see you next time, or well, I'll see my camera. Bye!